Considerate 7.14. Consideration to A, accept the water distribution system previously known as the Western Mutual Water Company inside the Westlake Homes subdivision, and B, accept the wastewater collection system inside the Westlake Homes subdivision. Special Districts Administrator Robin Pori, you have the floor.
Good morning, or good afternoon, board and staff. This item before you has been an item that is prolonged since the mid-'80s when CSA 21 was formed. When they did that, they consolidated multiple areas, including the Westlake Home subdivision, which was called Western Mutual Water at the time. And there's a myriad of maps and documents and all the stuff that says that we have accepted the parcels, we've bought easements, we've done all of this. However, we've been providing water and sewer services to them. However, we have not been maintaining any of the water or sewer lines within the gated community. And I've heard from staff that it was a myriad of reasons, some saying that it was not formally accepted, others saying it was a technicality based on some of the pipes weren't to standards. I can find no actual evidence of why we would not be
I can't either.
operating and maintaining all of these lines. I can find nothing that says that they have excluded that. I have been able to verify that when we purchase the shares of stocks from each individual homeowner, which is maybe why they don't have a global easement acceptance for the subdivision, because at this point we were buying them from each individual landowner, where it says that the terms of this agreement provide for the transfer of the in-ground distribution system and all distribution system easements for the total sales. So I think that it's just been a technicality, and this is just a formal action to so that we aren't going back and forth and the next administrator doesn't interpret it a different way, that we actually maintain the lines inside where we are distributing and collecting stuff from the residents. And they've paid for all of it. They were part of the consolidation. They paid for the additional plants. They've been treated like everyone else except the maintenance part.
All right. Supervisor Sabatier?
So I don't know why, for some reason, the attachment's just not opening, no matter how hard I try to open it up from the agenda. I know I went through
The
it.
subdivision maps, and so it's a very large file, so that's probably why it's not.
Oh,
We
gotcha.
weren't able to open it either.
Huh?
I wasn't able to open that either.
Yeah. So do we accept without a document right now? I guess I'm feeling, I wanted to open it up to review because I don't remember seeing like a official like resolution that as of today, going retroactively to a certain date, whatever. Do we just say accept verbally and there's nothing else to do? I just want to make sure this doesn't happen again. I want to make sure that I was just looking to make sure, because we had a conversation during lunch regarding this slightly, just a small piece of our overall conversation. And there's obviously a lot of evidence as to why this is coming to us today, but it came to us in 2020, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And we voted the other way because the information provided to us was the reverse of this information. I just want to make sure that the notes that she has is cataloged on record and not just in an office. But I can't open the thing, but if it's just a map, are we just saying yes today? Is that acceptable?
So what was attached?
1 second, Lloyd?
So it speaks to the process of, I will just call it formalizing the acceptance of these two systems, which is what's being proposed to your board as recommendations. It's one thing to recommend that your board, by way of motion, take action to accept these systems, but if there are any other prerequisites to that acceptance, that may lead to another possible item being brought forward to your board to make sure that those requisites, those requirements are met. From staff's, special district staff's board memo, it appears that representations that were made that these systems apparently have been granted in terms of access and possible, access, at least for access to special district staff, to county staff, pursuant to these easements. And at least at this point, it does not appear to be there as part of the agenda packet, the actual easements themselves, but that also speaks to Administrator Bori's statements that the way they did it before, it wasn't a global easement. It wasn't just a one globalized easement applicable to all of the utilities, access to the utilities in that HOA area. So you have that, and then you also have, as your board acknowledged, that outside of the board memo, the document, the other document that was uploaded, apparently there's some accessibility issues there. I'm not sure if in Granicus itself, if that's a difficulty if other participants or other viewers is also having access to that. So between those two issues, one option for your board would be to continue this item to a later date in order to allow for those items and sub-items that I mentioned, at least in part, to be resolved. So that is one option for your board. The other option, of course, is to go with what you have here, which is at this point, if there's accessibility issues to that attachment, to that large document attachment, then all that's before your board right now is just a board memo along with Administrator Bori's statements in her presentation. And the only caveat to that would be if, again, what's presented to your board is just a motion to accept the systems, that speaks to the process of accepting it. And if there are any prerequisites that are found later on to effectuate that acceptance by your board, any other prerequisites, any other procedural requirements that need to take place in order to effectuate that acceptance, then staff may need to bring that back to your board to satisfy those checklist requirements.
Vice Chair, I seen you had your pen up. I didn't know if you wanted to add to that.
Well, I've talked to Robin and both Nancy Rizika extensively about this, Nancy is the one that started that project out there at Westlake. And because I've been involved in this for the past couple of months, in all the discussions and what I've seen, I feel comfortable that we should be accepting that system. So I just wanted to throw that out there, but I'd also like to hear from the public too, if there's anything.
Right, Robin, I apologize I cut you off, but I was just wanted to hear County Council. Go ahead and if you have.
I just wanted to explain what the attachment was. It was the Westlake subdivision map for the whole subdivision, and that's where the common parcels, so the HOA kind of owned parcels, were accepted for all the utilities. But it didn't talk about each individual home and the way it's set up out there. That's why those are new documents that we have recently received. Admin has graciously given us several boxes that appear to maybe been from Anita or someone before, that has had a lot of this information in there that previous administrators may or not have actually had access to.
All right, thank you. I'll open up for public comment. If you'd like to come up, please.
Nancy Rizika. Since in 1993, as stated in the cover document from Robin Bore, the county purchased from each lot owner out there their share of stock. Then the county turned around and charged us on our water bill for part of a loan and on our property taxes. So we got paid for Western Mutual Water Company, which had a tank up on the hill up Parkway. And in our current maintenance yard for the Homeowners Association was a well, another one in another corner of the property. And we sure wish we hadn't had to close those because we could sure use that in the coming years for water for our landscaping. And I think previously when I appeared at public input, I gave you the history of this. I didn't know where to go. It was getting very frustrating because when things get older, when you've bought something, say you buy a used car, you don't go back to the person that sold it to you and said, hey, you got to continue to maintain this thing. I bought it from you. When you buy something, you take over the responsibility. Well, Robin has been wonderful getting to the bottom of this. And when you move your office or your home, you find some old documents, right? And I found a copy of the purchase of our share of stock for a house we had bought for my mother. And then we bought at a foreclosure sale more units at Westlake. So I've been close to this ever since the 80s when Razika Engineering designed Westlake as a planned unit development. The County of Lake did not want the roads to be public. They had paid you'd all paid a lot of money for repaving some roads up above Clear Lake Oaks, and the developer said, fine, we'll make it gated. So then all of a sudden, Special District says, oh no, we're not going out there and repairing these lines, that we're charging you the same amount for water and sewer as we charge everyone else in the North Lake Port. And you have paid for the new district, and because we don't go on public property. Well, you didn't want the streets, but your easements were recorded with the county surveyor in 1993. Let's see, there was something else I was going to mention, something about a technicality. And actually that happened later because if you were able to see a copy of these construction plans, right down here on the left-hand corner, they were accepted 12 years before by the county engineer, and they had a special districts. County engineer Eugene Collins in 1981, and Gary Brown, who is the head of special districts. Then on page 14, there is a final note in the plan saying that everything was done according to county standards, and it listed, the different resolutions at the time. So when it was built, it met all county standards. When it was purchased by the county, you accepted it. So we have been paying for the maintenance, and there's a lot of, it started out as retirement community. It was one of the downturns in the economy, and it didn't survive. And it was one of the first, the only one I knew of in the country at the time where development was actually shut down by the FDIC, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, because the partners of the developers was a savings and loan in Santa Rosa. And it sat for 8 years. That means the lines weren't used too much. There were a few homes that were sold, maybe 8, 10 out of 54. It's a 54-unit development. But my point is that all these years, Special District says, oh, no, we're not going to pay for the maintenance. Well, you don't send people a water bill the same as you send the rest of North Lakeport, and yet you pay for their maintenance. It's not a mobile home park where, one owner pays all the water and sewer bill. So anyway, enough of me. If you have any questions for me, I have many points, and I feel like I already went over them once, and I have beat this thing to death, and Robin's been wonderful about getting on, and I know she's got a lot of other things to do, but it was time to get this settled once and for all, especially when there was a huge water leak on Lakeshore Boulevard, and the district was losing a lot of water into the lake. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, it's erroring out every single time. I'm not able to open it. I must have failed when I was getting ready for this agenda. I know I read through the memo. I don't remember ever seeing an attachment. I don't know if the attachment was placed afterwards, but if it was always there, I never saw it. And the fact that it's unavailable, I think, we're approving something based on a memo, not based on evidence brought to us that is on record, and I think that this requires at least, I would love to see it on the consent agenda so we can easily push it through as long as the evidence is made available, because we need to solve this problem, and I just want to make sure it's on record. Right now, if we approve it, there's nothing on record but a memo.
Okay.
Well, we can do different sheets next time, or maybe compress it. It's 8 pages. It takes a while on my computer, but
Any recommendations over here? I know that I'm on, if Brad, if you're comfortable with it, I'm ready to move forward. I do agree, I didn't see it either, you know, but it's your district, if you're comfortable with it.
I'm comfortable with it based on my conversations with Robin and extensively and talking to Nancy and knowing the history. Every house has a county meter. It's not, and the lines go underneath the public roadway on Lakeshore Boulevard. The way this is outlined is we're not going to be responsible for if we have to dig up a sidewalk, then we'll dig it up and fix the line, and then the homeowner's going to have to fix the sidewalk behind it. But based on what I know, I'm comfortable, but at the same time, if the board prefers, we can put it on consent agenda next week with the map in there. I'm not going to argue against that if that makes
Susan, do
the
you,
board feel more comfortable.
okay, I thought I seen you like ready to. Does it need 4? It needs 3, yeah, that's what yeah.
Will the maps be included with it once if we vote on it now, the maps will be included with it?
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
talking to Robin.
yeah, the maps we have, all these maps, we've also found a whole nother set of maps that outline exactly where they're the as-built maps showing where all of the lines and stuff are. And so we have that map. We have the subdivision map where they accepted the subdivision parcels that were not private owners. And then, and I have Nancy's here just because hers was on top of what we purchased. So that's why they didn't come as formal acceptance of easements, is my guess, is because we went through and purchased them when each share we purchased. That's how we got Western Mutual Water, is we purchased the shares from the homeowners, and then that's where they gave us the easements and the infrastructure.
So basically, we're accepting the whole enchilada. We just can't access it right now.
You guys can't see it.
Right.
You can't open the subdivision map, but over the years, I think we have technically accepted it. And so I just want to formalize that, yes, we're going to maintain it.
That's what
I mean, we obviously are using it. We're the ones that have the meters on there. We're billing all the residents. We're, using the collection system to take everything to Northeast or Northwest treatment plant, and our water system is completely tied in. So, I mean, it kind of benefits us more than it hinders us to actually maintain this section of the system that could be a catastrophic failure to either one of our systems if we're not maintaining it. They could have huge sewer leaks. We could they could lose huge amount of water out of the system, that kind of stuff. So it's actually a really good benefit for us to actually be out there looking at it.
But do you have some, no? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So as I stated before, if your board were to move forward with the 2 recommended actions, it would not be based on those maps because they're not accessible, as your board discovered. And so it would be solely based on the representations made on the memo, and as well as the comments made by Administrator Bore and other public comments and discussion that took place at this hearing. If your board is moving forward with the action, it would be based on those, not on the technical details of the map, because it's not before your board.
Right. Any other comments or? Want to move forward?
Yeah, with that, Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion, starting with A, accept the water distribution system previously known as Western Mutual Water Company inside the Westlake Homes subdivision. Should I do it separately?
Yes, because it involves two different systems.
Okay, so that's the first motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1.
And the second, continuing, would be accept the wastewater collection system inside the Westlake Homes subdivision.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries 4-1. All right, that concludes 7.14. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for the information, Nancy. We appreciate that.
On behalf of the Westlake Homeowners Association, which I am a board member of, I want to thank you all for finally clarifying this. It's really been very upsetting. The last incident, the sewer was overflowing, and I was very worried that it was going to go under a building and under Parkway and down a ditch into Clear Lake, and the county would have big, big fine. So we called out Roto-Rooter, and they took care of it. But I don't know if future boards, just like you don't know how a future board is going to react to the things you do, would be that considerate of the county. So thank you for finally clarifying this. It's caused me a lot of sleepless nights the last 30 years when I knew this was wrong. And staff, I don't think they wanted to come out of the office and deal with it, quite frankly, in the past. So really appreciate current staff and especially Robin. Thank you so much. I don't know if any of our board members are listening or if you have, I told them it'd probably be around 4 o'clock and it's only 2:45. So we are a community of local retirees have moved from bigger homes into smaller ones, many single women who don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere alone and like the gates, and people who come up on weekends. And 2 of our board members are weekenders. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, that is our full agenda.